The top seed in action here on Championship Court as we get set for our third mixed doubles quarterfinal. Will Howells, Bobby Oshiro back playing together here in Newport Beach after Howells did not play in New York City. They are taking on the qualifying pair of Raina Ash and Andre Millet, and we have seen time and time again this year, Chad, qualifiers wreak havoc on the draws.
Well, and the reason being is that a lot of the players in these draws, you kind of rely on familiarity. You're able to notice tendencies, adjust to patterns. When you have new players coming in, and we've seen it, like you said, a couple of times with qualifiers making deeper runs, you're trying to figure things out on the fly. And a team like Millet and Ash, Andre Millet has a lot of power. He's got a massive serve. He's got a big drive. It's got a ton of shape on it. Very similar to what we see from Chris Hayworth. He's just got a smaller frame. But, he can create some chaos just with his ability to move quickly on the court and really put some pressure on. Raina Ash being the lefty, it's always difficult playing against lefties. And for some reason, even though you tell yourself that your opponent's a lefty, you still are kind of in that mindset of you facing a right-hander. So there are times where you feed a ball to the forehand. So, they've got that going for them as well. But I think it's just, that element of surprise and unfamiliarity that allows a team like this to make a deeper run.
Well, the problem for a team like Ash and Millet, though, is that they are facing a very solid duo in Howells and Oshiro, who have been rock solid every time they've played together. Every time they have partnered together on tour this year, they've come away with a gold medal.
Well, and the reason being is they make adjustments very quickly. They're not going to let you go or on a 3, 4, 5 point run. If they get caught a couple of times, they're going to make an adjustment quickly. The communication on court, the understanding is the reason why they are the 1 seed, other than overall ability. Bobby Oshiro, big forehand. She can create. Will Howells, watch for that backhand flick. Look for him to move and be active. He does a very good job staying short, compact with that swing, and they can put a lot of pressure on.
It's already been a good weekend and a good tournament for Bobby Oshiro. She is into Championship Sunday in women's singles for the first time, but puts it into the net on the third there, so a quick side out. Ooh. Missed return.
2 into the net for Oshiro. That's a rarity.
Exactly.
1-0-1.
Millet stepping across into the tape, but you can hear Ash say, "I like it."
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from Millet here. I had the chance to watch him a couple of weeks ago at APP Next in St. Louis. One thing I will say, Raina Ash is probably going to talk after every single point.
I understand that.
She loves to make a comment about it all.
I was going to say, there are players like that. Jack Foster on the men's side, rarely a point without commentary. Into the net there. Although nothing to be said about that miss. 1 apiece.
1-1-1.
Yeah, that's the danger there with Will Howells. That's a good move there from Millet. He got back into the next one, but Howells is all over it and gets that ball back quickly on Millet.
Millet sneaking it underneath the paddle of Howells. Second serve on the way.
2-1-2.
A good sell there from Millet as well. Made it look like he was going to go big forehand through the middle. Kind of just slid it outside to Howells.
1-2-1.
tremendous defense by Bobby Oshiro in the middle of that point.
Yeah, the ball that she got back off that was almost into her body off of that backhand flick from Millet. I think she took it off the top of the hand. But, you know, that's Bobby Oshiro, right? She's going to get balls back where you're just like, how?
In watching Howells and Oshiro, the thing that strikes me is how calm they always seem under pressure.
Yeah.
Millet pushes that long, so change of serve. And, you know, the same can be said for Megan Fudge and Jack Monroe. It's one of the reasons why those four have squared off so many times in Championship Sunday.
Yeah, calm under pressure. Trust in their abilities, confidence in their abilities.
Not coming back off the line. Another point for Howells and Oshiro.
Good step over there from Howells after Oshiro went for the around the post. And then, again, it's hit a ball middle, push it out wide.
Oh, what an angle from Millet. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I mean, I thought he was beat there for sure. And then he flicks one back cross court. Howells couldn't even catch up to it.
Asking for a little love from the crowd for that one. I think that's well deserved.
That was a pretty impressive shot right there.
Not quite enough. Oshiro can't make the pickup mid-court. And the chatter once again picking up on the side of Raina Ash.
1-3-1.
Oshiro leaves it wide. Second serve.
Just a little late there for Millet. And get that shape back into the court that he was looking for.
1-3-2.
Way to push that just long.
Ash trying to go for the offensive lob there, but just rushed it a little bit. Oh, wow. I mean, usually it's we're saying that's a Bobby bag when Bobby's hitting somebody, but
I mean, it goes both ways.
Oshiro got that right in the face. That ball was not staying in the court. Obviously, Millet wasn't trying to hit Oshiro there, but
that was a nice medium-paced roll through the middle there to get back on serve.
a couple of errors coming from Andre Millet that I didn't see in the first couple of matches from him. He was playing pretty clean.
Howells puts that away with ease. Do you think the errors from Millet are coming because he's pressing a bit, or is there something that Howells and Oshiro are doing?
I think it might be just, getting used to the pressure out here on championship court and quarterfinals.
Well within the court, and that's one of Howells' favorite shots, that little cross court behind.
Yeah, stays nice and compact with it, uses the power of that attack.
Point.
Nice flick there from Oshiro.
5-1 lead as Ash and Millet take a timeout on court. Humana would like to recognize Gigi Inietti for the Humana Human Care Spotlight. Gigi has played an integral role in recruiting volunteers for the APP Newport Beach Open the last 3 years. Gigi says of pickleball, quote, "The energy and support we all give to one another on and off the court is a beautiful blessing." Thank you so much for all that you do, Gigi, and for all of our volunteers here on the APP Tour. We sincerely mean it when we say we could not do this without you. Strong start to this first game in this quarterfinal for Will Howells and Bobby Oshiro, out to a 5-1 lead. And very dissimilar to the style that we saw in the previous quarterfinal. Oshiro Howells very content to be methodical and kind of lull you to sleep with their defense and then picking the right spot.
Well, they work a point. They move the ball around. They wait for the opportunity to attack, and they're not going to give you, many free points. They're going to play relatively clean, and if there are some errors, it's very few. Oshiro trying to go with that forehand roll right there. Potentially just a little overextended. Woo. Huh. Could not even see that, and we're sitting right on the baseline.
Millet not able to make the cut. Cross backcourt. Another point as Howells and Oshiro have stretched the lead to 6. Second one for Bobby Oshiro, and she was wearing it.
Well, Howells, tried to sell that a little bit with the big take back and, make it look like he was going to fake the speed up. But Millet not faked out by the actual speed up.
That time the net cord unkind to Millet. Lands long, second serve on the way.
Good ball movement again there from Howells and Oshiro. Well, that's
really
a return.
Deep return. Wow.
Deep and with pace.
Mm-hmm.
That is the shot that Oshiro wants right there. She just rushed it.
I was going to say, do not see Oshiro miss that very often. There have been a handful of uncharacteristic mistakes, but for the most part, Howells and Oshiro have been solid. Howells through the middle, pushes Ash and Millet onto second serve.
Yeah, that's a case of Millet just trying to do too much there. Comes over, the only thing he can do is bump that ball directly in front, and then he has to move back to be able to cover.
Oh, well, sometimes doing too much is just enough. That was a pretty move.
I mean, that was a very pretty uni right there from Millet. Jump in the corner and then angling it back behind him. Good speed up there from Oshiro.
Ooh. Oh, Millet slid it just wide, but again, the hands of Bobby Oshiro are just so good.
Yeah, the hands of Oshiro kept him in that point, and then Millet trying to sneak it back behind Howells as he recovered back middle. Even there, I mean, that's a difficult shot from Howells, right? He goes from the attack, he's moving when he resets it, and just bumps it back over the net perfectly.
I mean, the thing about Howells and Oshiro, as we've already mentioned throughout the course of this opening game, is they're just so solid in multiple facets of the game. They're comfortable moving the ball around. They play really good defense. You know, they do a lot of things that frustrate their opponents.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Their opponents is be like, you know, what do I have to do to try and score a point here? If I'm aggressive and it's not the right ball, Howells and Oshiro are going to counter it. They're going to be all over it. If they try to move the ball around, Oshiro and Howells can match it with the ball movement.
It's been a tremendous year on tour for Will Howells. 12 medals, leads, all men. Captured a triple crown in Fort Lauderdale back in the beginning of April. First male to do that since J.W. Johnson. Another point, and it brings up a game point for Howells and Oshiro. One of the rare mistakes Howells has made in this opening game. Missed the third. Still second serve to come, so it'll be a second opportunity at game point.
Yep.
Stung it with an exclamation point. That's how game number one ends. Howells and Oshiro cruising through the opening game. They are halfway home to the semifinals.
No, it's not the time to give up or to give in. I won't allow it. You won't allow it. I mean, the couch doesn't own you. You own you. Am I right? Of course I'm right. You can do this. Well, maybe not this. But you get the idea, right? Don't be a couch potato.
Find a doctor at you'llbeback.com. Arnold says, do it now.
At The Botanist, we always look further, seeing potential where others may not. We sustainably hand forage 22 Isla Botanicals to make a beautifully balanced gin, capturing the essence of our Scottish island home. Consciously crafted by our community to be enjoyed by yours. Look further.
Welcome back to Championship Court here at the Zimmer Biomet APP Newport Beach Open. Our fourth and final mixed doubles quarterfinal still ahead. The number 2 seed Megan Fudge and Jack Monroe will be facing Emily Cedarquist and Eric Lang. Fudge Monroe coming off of a gold medal in New York. They topped Chris Hayworth and Amanda Hendry 6 weeks ago. Right now on a potential collision course with Will Howells and Bobby Oshiro should the bracket play out the way it has more often than not this season.
Good double speed up there from Millet. Into the body of Howells, and then cross body on Oshiro.
Headed our way.
I was ready for it. He didn't go as much angle.
No, it was not quite as extreme. It was more over in my corner.
2-1-1. Correction.
Everyone was all over that.
Yeah, it's a
Millet waiting for it, puts it right past Oshiro.
Ash taking this one through the middle. Howells was kind of shading the line a little bit. Oshiro giving him the room.
Came up short there, 1 point apiece.
Rare miss there from Howells. Trying to be aggressive on that backhand, but kind of rushed through.
1-1-1.
Started moving before the execution.
Second serve on the way.
1-1-2.
Wow.
Side out.
That is not what I was seeing from Andre Millet earlier on those third shot drives. He was blistering them with shape. Kind of a little off balance here, and a little off balance there from Howells as well.
A point's a little hard to come by early on here in this opening game.
1-1-2.
Just wide is Oshiro and Howells now in the lead.
2-1-2. Point.
Can't afford those mistakes there against Howells and Oshiro.
Well, the thing with Howells and Oshiro is that they're not going to beat themselves. You cannot afford to give them extra points.
Even that right there, Millet and Ash look like they're in control just ever so slightly, but just a little too big there from Millet. Sprays that ball wide.
And you can hear Howells say, love that, as quickly Howells and Oshiro open up a 4-point advantage, 5-1-2, forcing another timeout here from Ash and Millet. And certainly nothing against them, but you see the gap between the top pairing on tour in the qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the most noticeable is the cleanliness of play. And typically, when you talk about a more aggressive player, it's kind of high risk, high reward. If you're dialed in and on, you know, really difficult to beat. If your timing's off just a little bit, or you're behind by half a step, now those errors start to creep in. And it's a little bit of what we're seeing from Millet and Ash, especially Andre Millet, just in reality pressing a little too much potentially. So he's getting jammed up. He's not getting the footwork and the swings that he wants.
I mean, where's the line, though, for a team like Ash and Millet? You have nothing to lose in this scenario. You're not expected to win. So where's the line between taking chances and trying to make something happen and being too reckless?
Well, you definitely want to take those chances, and you want to play to your strength, which is that power and the fast tempo. But at the same time, you can't try and do too much on every swing. Try to end the point on every swing. It's start looking at them as sequences or combos. Kind of adjust the swing a little bit, be a little bit more compact.
Oh, get up, Will Howells.
Well, and that was quick recognition there from Will Howells as well. He was taking a step back as soon as it came off the paddle of Millet.
6-1-2.
Good absorption volley there.
Well, when you hit a ball as hard as Andre Millet does as well, it's not like Oshiro's going to be charging the kitchen line on that ball right there. So good touch.
A point for Ashton Millet.
That's a good reach in and roll back behind there for Millet.
And a timeout taken by Howells and Oshiro. Still holding on to a somewhat comfortable lead, but back-to-back points enough to want to regroup as the qualifiers have shaved the deficit in half. Millet, a nationally ranked doubles player at Arizona Christian by ITA, Firestorm and NAIA program. And we've seen that influx, and anyone coming into the sport with that background. And I know we've seen players come to the sport naturally now, but again, there's so much transition from the collegiate game of tennis into pickleball, and really we see those players make leaps and bounds so quickly.
Yeah, and you know, don't get me wrong, it's not every, you know, high-level tennis play coming over that makes that adjustment as quick, but it's, you know, a lot of the players that have that good footwork, you know, can cover court well, can make the adjustment quickly. I think the biggest adjustment for a tennis play coming over to pickleball is one, the footwork, two, you know, the length of the swing. Good speed up there again from Oshiro, going behind Ash and getting it back behind that left foot, that left hip.
3-6-2.
Into the net there, so a good timeout called by Howells and Oshiro. Forced the side out.
Well, and right there as well, Howells, you know, he hits the ball hard, but he's not going to, you know, potentially overpower a lot of people with sheer power. What he gets you on is the compactness of the swing, how quickly he gets to that ball, how quickly it gets back on his opponent. Andre Millet definitely, you know, going back to that last hands battle, he's got more power behind the swing, but Howells is going to come out on top 90% of the time just because after that, you know, third ball, just because of how quickly he's getting that ball back.
And speaking of quickly, you can see how quickly the momentum changes. Oshiro and Howells, they felt it when it got to 6-3. Called the timeout, got to stop, got back on serve, and now they're up 8-3. They've extended that lead to 5. And, you know, they may not be applying pressure every single ball, but there's scoreboard pressure as well.
But I also talked about it when we came into this one, is they make their adjustments quickly, right? So Ash and Millet, what did they end up? They scored two?
Yes.
Before the timeout. So then it's right there. Okay, we're going to call a timeout. We're going to make our adjustment, you know, and go sit down, talk about it, come back out, and like you said, get it back, go on another little run, and that's what makes them a really good team. They're not going to give away 4 or 5 points before trying to make that adjustment.
Miss there from Howells on the third. Second serve coming.
8-3-2.
And another miss there from Howells. So we've seen it at times, I think back to Cincinnati, where they weren't quite as clean as we've seen them be.
Yeah, it came in a little...
And a miss there from Oshiro.
A little flat, almost a little lackadaisical as far as back on their heels, weren't really moving, and then they turned it back on. Ooh,
that was an out ball.
Hey!
Yep.
Nice hands in the stands there by one of our referees.
Caught a couple of loose points, getting some help there from Ash and Millet as Millet put a paddle on the out ball. 4-8-2. Missed third, and if you're trying to come from behind in a match in which you are the overwhelming underdog, you cannot
miss the ball in the net.
Especially on a third. We talked at length yesterday about the importance of thirds.
Shiro just cutting that one just a little short.
8-4-2.
Popped off the net cord and out of bounds. So 2 points now between Howells and Oshiro in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Oshiro read the spot, but good ATP there from Millet.
But watch where the paddle is. She reads the spot, but the paddle is back behind her. That if she's going to block that, needs to bring that paddle out in front. Not like I'm saying that was easy.
Second serve. 4-9-2.
Oh, yeah.
A miscommunication there between Howells and Oshiro. Another point. So a good stand for Ash and Millet, not going away by any means.
Well, that wasn't even a miscommunication. That was Howells trying to come over, couldn't get to it, and Oshiro was there.
We've seen that a couple of times from Howells as well. I think back to Fort Lauderdale when he took all of Bobby's overheads.
Well, Millet and Ash just keep chipping away.
Howells and Oshiro have another timeout. Are you surprised they're not taking it here?
I think it would be this point here. If they give up another one here, they'll probably take it.
But instead, they are able to force the side out, and so now Howells and Oshiro on the service side. They have the opportunity to shut the door on this second game.
9-6-1.
That's a good drive there.
That is something that Will Howells loves to drop the thirds. You don't see him drive it that often. It was a good choice, and it brings up a match point.
Well, with that shorter return on a ball sitting up, it's actually easier to drive it than drop it. Oh!
Oh!
No, he shouldn't have hit it. It was past the net.
Oh, no.
It was
Millet.
past the net. And it was an out ball.
Millet unsure of where he was on the court. He was past the net. The point goes to Howells and Oshiro. They take it in straights. The top seeds back into the semifinals.
This is what you're waiting for. People ready to ride. I think I'm ready tonight. This is what you're waiting for. People ready to ride.
Introducing Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous relaxed fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the APP Tour.
Everyone knows standing still doesn't get you where you want to go. It's all about movement and progression, power, strength, innovation, expertise. On the court, off the court, and on the way to the court, you have to expect more out of yourself. And you should expect more of the company who makes your tires. Getting you more miles, traction, and safety is why we get up in the morning. Let's drive forward. Expect more. Fortune Tires.
16 years from today, Greg Gerstner will finally land the perfect cannonball. Unsuspecting friends? Check. Epic water displacement? Big check. A work of art that's only possible because Greg is already meeting all these same people at AARP volunteer and community events. They'll keep Greg active, involved, and mischievous, and help make sure his happiness lives as long as he does. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Well, it's business as usual for the 1 seeds, Bobby Oshiro and Will Howells. A little help there on match point, a little unexpected. Andre Millet crossing past the net and then hitting the overhead. But Howells and Oshiro moving on to the semifinals, and they are courtside with Dorian Kraft in our Franklin post-match interview.
Bobby and Will, congratulations back into the semifinals as a pairing. Will, I'm actually going to start with you because while we were waiting for the post-match interview, the first thing you said when you came out here, you said that team, they're going to be so good. Why do you say that?
Yeah, I mean, they're new faces here, but they're very talented, really good hands and great drops. They got forward really well, and it was a tough match.
And Bobby, we've heard you and Will talk at length throughout this partnership about how well you guys make adjustments, the communication between you two. How important is that in a match where you're facing qualifiers that you're not that familiar with?
Oh gosh, I think it's really important. Just because when you're up a lot, they start making a couple points here and there. It's just really important that you kind of stick with each other. Will does a really good job of keeping me dialed in and focused and making sure that we don't kind of let them back into the match, and it works.
Well, what you're doing is working. Another semifinal for you guys as a pair. We'll see you coming up a little bit later here on Championship Court. We've got one more quarterfinal left to go. Megan Fudge, Jack Monroe taking on Eric Lang and Emily Cedarquist. Don't go anywhere.